Good evening, and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. And yes, I'm running late. I was out at my grandson's birthday party, and why'd this stupid TV quit working?
Because it's a stupid TV, that's why.
I guess so.
It's a technical issue that always takes place. It doesn't matter whether it's Russ,
it doesn't seem. Yeah, it seems like it. Oh, no wonder that's not It's not on HDMI 2. It's on HDMI 1.
Or Donald even. Even rednecks with know-how.
Well,
I don't know that much about motors and brushes and stuff.
It's not
on technical issues too.
I was going to depend on Jim or Al tonight to know all the information that I need.
Oh boy.
Because those. Well, hold on now, Al. It's not working.
It's not on YouTube.
Oh, wait.
Aussie Man says, "Where's the show?" And I just looked, and it's not on YouTube.
Yep, you're right.
I got it up. Everybody refresh. I got it up.
Do you? All right.
Oh, I still got waiting for Simply Creative.
Yeah, I've got JJE, Donna Presley.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't have it.
Not streaming. I see the chat though.
Right, the chat's
once you
not
window
the
come back. That's what I did.
I just refreshed and it didn't come back.
But try closing the YouTube window.
I opened up YouTube before I opened this one up and saw it going on.
Yeah, it's working. I got it on YouTube.
Yeah. Well,
yep. I got it. Just popped it up right now. I'm looking at it.
I'm doing it again then. All technical issues today, folks.
Got me with my camo T-shirt on.
Ooh,
it has to be me.
I closed the window.
I don't think it started.
Live. Brushless motors is all I see. All I see is waiting for Simply Win Creations.
Yeah.
Al, did you close the window and reopen it?
Yeah. What you mean not the StreamYard, but I did. YouTube. I did the tab.
Yeah, I did. I closed it and reopened it, and then it's fine.
Well, that worked for me.
I did the tab. I'm going to close the tab out again.
There you go.
Right.
But I did.
I know it's working because I'm on Twitch and I'm on Facebook. So.
Wow, that's weird, guys.
I closed out the window and opened up a new window and went to it, and it's doing fine for me.
Okay, I think I see it now.
All right, we'll do that.
There we are.
I can see clearly now. I know how to work.
It's gone.
But yeah, I run a little late. My grandson's birthday party was this afternoon, and I stayed over there. And I looked down at my watch and went like, "Crap! I was going to leave there at 6 o'clock, and I should have been here by 6:30." And I ended up not leaving there till after 7. So it was like they were playing laser tag. Papa can't play laser tag anymore because I can't run. There's no way they're going to get me to run. So that just ain't going to happen. But I was enjoying watching them and everything. I just got carried away at the party. But it was a lot of fun. Had a good time. We actually went out there because I had not planning on staying to the end and got there at 1 o'clock this afternoon after the last rain shower went through. And yeah, we've been riding side by sides and goofing off and playing around all afternoon. So, but anyway, I'm here. And Chris, tell us where we can find you.
Right here. Hey guys, Chris here at the Old Cranky Workshop. On YouTube and Facebook. It's only because I only want to monitor those. Too lazy to do the others.
Cool. Paul?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, right here. You can find me tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern watching Al's stream on Twitch.
2 p.m. real time.
2 p.m. fake time, 3 o'clock real time.
Yeah, and Jim, who's snoring over there. At least he looks
Well,
like
I've
he's
got-
asleep.
I've got a strep, so I've got a sore throat. But yeah, Jim Bashir's Driveway Workshop, all the typical junk I say every Saturday. I don't know that we're. Do you guys see us on?
Yeah, we've been through this, Jim. Yes.
I know, but I'm just saying, Austin's like, is the show running yet at all? And
Tell him to refresh his.
Oh,
Either
what?
close out YouTube and
Window
reopen
and
it, and he'll see it because that's what everybody's been having to do.
yeah,
I
true.
did that too, and it's still not working.
Close.
Well, I know it's on. I've got YouTube open, I've got Facebook open, and I've got Twitch
had to-
open, and they're all
I had to close the tab right down and reopen it.
yeah. That's the reason I said close YouTube out totally and then come back into it and see if you can see it. I don't know why it's giving me the problem. Oh well, it doesn't. Hey, when you're late on top of everything
Exactly.
else, yeah,
Exactly.
everything just goes in the hell in a handbasket. You know.
Exactly. It's a technical nightmare that
Yep. It's a technical quandary.
yes.
Gremlins.
It's like the fever
Donald, go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
monster.
I'm Donald Loves the Fives Woodshop on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever it is, and Instagram.
Whatever.
And redneckknowhow.com is my website.
Al.
Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop, just for fun. Kilroy 79763, guys all over the place. Stream 2 p.m. Central on Twitch, and maybe one of these days I'll come back to YouTube and do some lives on YouTube. But for right now, I'm just being lazy.
Well, that's the reason I chose to use Restream because it does all three simultaneously. That is, if you get it working. Yeah, if you can get it working. Donna.
Donna Presley, Donna's Wooden Art, Donna's Embroidery Plus. Find me on Facebook, YouTube. Mother Rose here also.
Howdy, Rose.
There's that hand.
Yeah, my wife saw your your mom's there. I can see her hand. Yeah, my wife said, if I'd have known she was doing bunnies, I would have ordered some from her. And I said, you forget I have a Dad Burns embroidery machine myself.
Well, I don't know if yours would be able to do the Easter bunny.
Yeah, I don't know the thickness of the ear.
I mean, I can show you how to make one at some point.
And
Yeah,
he could
but I'm
do it
just
for
saying,
hand, can he?
Yeah, right. Is it the thickness of the ear or the size of the?
It's the size of the hoop
Ah,
and the size of the ear. So
yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, and that's what I told her. But anyway, she was like, but I told her, I said, yeah, it's a little too late right now because we have 15 grandchildren, so that'd be 15 bunnies. So I don't think she can have 15 done by Sunday next week.
but you don't think I could? We're talking me. Yes, I
So
did 5
yeah, but do what?
Said I did 5 just last night.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that's
pretty
playing
good.
around.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, so Jim, did we ever find out where you were from, or did you answer, or because I knew you were talking about? Aussie man.
I think we did, because he said something about his usual
His usual
Oak City cracks or whatever.
Yeah.
Aussie man.
I
says
want Jim to get up and play that piano over there is what I want him to go do.
Yeah.
No.
Since he's sitting in a room with a baby grand, we want you to struggle keys.
I can't play a piano.
Well, then why you buy one and put one in the back of you?
Yeah. I thought we needed one.
It's just there for a decorative piece.
Yeah.
Anyway, Aussie man says every week it gets harder and harder to watch the show. I know. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but you have to like close YouTube out and open it up a couple of times to get it to go. Now tonight, for some strange reason, it worked the first time for me, but I've had to refresh the screen 2 or 3 times before.
But I think this is the most trouble on YouTube that I've had in a while, for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not quite sure.
I closed YouTube out, came back up again, nothing. I'm not getting
Yeah.
it. All I got
Did you finally get it?
That means they're getting ready to change the
I
stuff.
honestly blame Restream, to be honest with you. I think
It could be partially Restream's fault. Did Jim? Did you finally get it to work?
no.
Huh.
No.
Wow.
I've got the chat, so at least I've got one place I can make.
Yeah,
It's not
Aussie
gonna
Man
work
finally
that
got
way.
it to work.
Yeah,
He had to,
He did?
he had to
All right,
close
and I
it
did
out.
too.
I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to close that web browser out. Open up another one.
Chris Nealon is out there singing in the jungle, the mighty jungle.
In the jungle, mighty
The
jungle,
lion
the
sleeps-
lion sleeps tonight. In
That's
the
right.
jungle,
Good
the
song.
quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Yeah, Aussie Man said it's now called "Let's Try and Talk to Shop with the
There
Russ."
you go. There you go. Good one, Bill.
All
Yeah,
right,
good.
Awesome, man.
I'm done.
But no guarantee. LOL. Yeah, like I said, it could be Restream. Tonight I was running late, and I think I told everybody my grandson was having the birthday party, so it was like, I was planning on leaving there at 6:30, and then I looked down at my clock, and it's like 10 minutes after 7. I'm going like crap. But they were out there playing laser tag, and they were having such a good time. My grandson walks up to one kid and says, Hey, I just want to stand here beside you. I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to shoot you. So my other grandson, Gage, was standing beside Levi, and he started watching this other kid trying to come up, and Levi stuck his gun in front of his laser tag thing and went, pow, 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 pow. And killed him. And Gage was like mad. And I said, you believed him? I mean, you let him stand beside him? You believed him? I said, I wouldn't have fell for that. As soon as he walked up, I'd have been shooting the crap out of him.
Sounds to me like y'all need to upgrade the paintball.
Yeah, that's for sure. We used to do that. We'll take just a little bit more time to talk about this before we get into the motors. I'm depending on Jim and Al tonight to know about the motors because I haven't had a chance. I mean, I know the difference, but I haven't had a chance to really study.
Well, I think Chris ought to be the one to do this.
Yeah, since he thought about it.
I brought it up because somebody asked me and I didn't know the answer. So
No, it's a good question and a good a subject, to be honest with you. But anyway, we used to play paintball when my boys were growing up. There was like myself, my 2 son-in-laws, the 4 boys, and we used to have a couple of their friends that used to attend the birthday parties all the time. Nick, which was a kid down the street that lived at my house with my boys, and one other kid. I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, we used to play paintball, and it was a blast. I remember one time I was like looking around a corner, and you went like trying to look around the corner. Well, anyway, somebody shot me from the side, and I didn't even see him, but it hit my mask in the corner right at the edge, and when the paintball broke, it splattered underneath my mask and into my mouth. I'm like, yeah. Good those things are non-toxic, because if not, I'd be dead right now.
and they hurt when you get hit with them.
No, I learned out. I put a pair of long johns on and a pair of jeans and a pair of sweatpants over the jeans. I put a t-shirt on, a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, and a jacket, and it don't hurt at all.
I was wearing a sweatshirt. That's about it.
No, if you don't do nothing but wear something thin, yeah, it's going to hurt you. Now they do, because it's a professional run. I mean, we rented those masks, everything. You buy the paintballs from them. I rented the whole field and everything. So we were there by ourselves. It was only our team. It was only it really wasn't that bad. It was like $250 for like 10 kids.
Wow.
To rent the whole field for an hour. I think we got it for an hour and a half because I knew the guy. Normally it was an hour, but I knew the owner and he would let us do an hour and a half. And we had so many kids, but a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun. We used to have a blast. Come out just covered in paint, because you're supposed to, when you raise your hands, you're like this. You're supposed to. That's it. Don't shoot me no more. I'm dead. You hit me, right? Oh yeah. This team don't do that. No. They just keep on shooting the crap out of you.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. And a couple of them made the mistake of wearing nothing but like t-shirts. Oh, that was a big mistake. But going back to the since they're professional, they turn the feet per second or the pressure down on the guns so they don't shoot quite as hard as you can have them shoot. Yeah, there's a I don't remember what it is. Some of those guns will run up 90, 100 pounds or whatever. They cut them back to like 60 pounds so that they don't hurt as bad. Let's put it that way.
They still
Now,
hurt,
I'm not
just
saying
not as
that,
bad.
yeah, they hurt, just not as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a big difference between 60 and 90 feet per second, or however they gauge that thing. Yeah.
It's been 20 years since I did it, so I forget.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've done it. We used to have a blast, boy.
I've never done paintball, but when I was a kid, we used to dress up in double jeans and a field jacket and shoot each other with BB guns.
BB guns, yeah. I did that when I was a kid. Me and my brother did that. But now, back in the day, I didn't have pump-up BB guns. We had the one pop Daisy.
Yeah.
So they weren't near as powerful as these ones that are you can pump up 10 or 15 times.
We had the multiple pumps, but if there was one involved, we followed the rules. You only pumped it once.
The heck with that. If it'll pump 10 times. They say, and also that I read that something about when you pump that thing up 15 times or something, it has the inch feet per second or whatever, like I was talking about, equivalent to like a 22 caliber bullet.
Yep.
I got a pellet rifle like that. You can hunt squirrel with it. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, you can kill a squirrel with it. Yeah. Heck, I killed a bird with a one-cock Daisy before, so they're pretty powerful.
That sounds like a song, One Cock Daisy.
Cock Daisy.
I think I went out with her.
That's a country song.
yeah.
I heard one.
You should listen to him, Donald.
We were only allowed to shoot the brown birds. We could not
Brown birds.
shoot red or not, just the brown ones.
That's probably because you were shooting dove.
Well, I think my brother shot a bluebird one time, and it was like, no, you can't shoot anything but the brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice
Hey,
one
Russ,
thing Daddy taught us: you don't kill anything you ain't gonna eat. So
Right.
Aussie Man said it took him 5 times before he got to the stream. Yeah.
Well, I'll keep trying then.
I got
And,
a couple projects if you'd like to see them, Russ.
Sure. Just let me finish off with Chris Nealon said the live chat has been really. Yes, I have noticed that that part, as far as the live chat, has been really, really slow for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that is. See, now that doesn't have anything to do with Restream because that's strictly on YouTube. So I don't know why that's so slow. Okay, so Aussie Man, Chris Nealon's out there, JJE, Donna Prussy's in the chat.
That's the owl out there.
Yeah, Owl's out there.
Yep, I am. And I've got some photos I want to show off, Russ.
Okay,
you talking
Brian
about-
Woodward
Hello,
is
Brian.
out there. So good to see all y'all out there.
Brian's
in the
really,
chat.
really,
All right,
Paul.
quick call, show what you got, and then we got to get started on the brush and brushless. Oh, that's cool. Let me get let's get the thing over here on.
Paul, is that a family portrait?
Yes, it is. I made that floating frame. I didn't do the
Oh, that's
artwork.
cool.
Oh, okay.
I just made the floating frame for it.
That looks good. That
It
looks
does.
really good. Did you like
How'd you
put a
make?
backing on it or?
Nope. It's and the artwork is held in by 4 little screws here.
Oh, I see. I see.
Ah,
Hey, maybe I need to do my clock that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
it looks good.
Yeah. But it's just a floating frame.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the other thing I made real quick is I made this on my laser.
Oh,
the ruler.
sweet.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's
That
a
you can make
metric
those.
rule, and it is dead on.
That's
Oh,
cool.
I bet.
Usually, I mean, yeah, if you put it in the how do I want to put it? This, if you make it right, like in Corel Draw or whatever, for the right dimensions, it'll come out right on the laser.
I did that in Lightburn.
The
Lightburn.
precision is awesome.
Yeah. and that's 150 millimeters.
Cool.
That's it. That's all
Okay.
I made.
And then we'll go to Mr. Al, and then we got to start talking about Al. Who do you want to lead the
I
brushless
just
motor
wanted to
thing?
show some photos. That's all.
No, you're going to do one of the two. You're going to either lead or you're going to talk about them. So you got your choice. Which how
Lead
you
what?
want to do it?
Lead
You're either
what?
going to lead the talk on brushless motors, or Jim is.
Oh,
Since you're the one that's going to be taking,
Right?
yeah. Since you're the one that's going to be taking, helping me do the show when I'm not here, so you have to take over. See.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well,
All right, anyway,
motor.
show a few of your photos. Show
a
a few of
motor.
your photos.
Okay. Go ahead and let me present.
I got you
I'll-
already on
I'll-
solo layout. I'm waiting on you.
Okay.
It's called on-the-job training now.
Wait a
Mhm.
second. Yeah. Well, that's not it either.
You go to share. You go to share.
Is
It's
that?
actually present.
Oh, you go to present.
Yeah. I need to present. I need to present. Share screen. I need to share screen window. Nope, that's not it. Chrome tab.
If you're going to take all night,
There we
it'll be a
go.
long summer.
I'm going to share this right here. Can you see that?
Nope.
This is my wisteria tree or plant in the desert,
Wow.
and I went and took some photos of
that
it.
is pretty.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is.
that is pretty.
It is. And I'm getting to the motor part, by the way. I have to get through the wisteria.
Oh, these are motored wisteria?
Yeah.
Motorized.
They're motorized.
Are they
But
on a
this-
track or
This
they just-
guys, this
Oh,
look,
cool.
this is a motor. Isn't that what we're talking about? I had to change.
No,
the-
we're talking about brushes and brushless.
Oh, wow.
It's called
I thought-
like drills and
This is-
impact wrenches and all
This
kinds
is
of
a
stuff
motor
like
mount.
That. No,
It can't be a motor mount.
No, it can't
So
be a
I
motor mount.
basically torqued that one down by hand, just using my.
Oh,
So I basically
all right,
hand
you can
screwed
take me
that
off.
one down.
I thought we were going to talk about motors.
Yeah.
Would you have to change your motor mounts in your Mustang?
No, in the Focus.
This is a
the
comparison
Focus.
of both of these.
Yeah.
Okay. So Al,
Back to you, Russ.
what's the difference between brush and brushless motors? If you don't know this and you teach electronics, something's wrong.
Well, actually, it's almost like, okay. So in a regular motor, you have a rotor, and you have coils that the rotor induces a current in the coils, and the opposite takes place in brushless. Of course, in a regular motor with brushes, all the current goes out through the brushes, right? Well, in brushless, there's no brushes. In fact, there's electronic circuitry that actually creates, like, I think it's a 3-phase voltage anyway. And in a nutshell, it depends which one you want. Okay, if you want the brushed ones, they're hotter, they're less effective, whereas the brushless are lighter, and they're also more complicated. So when they break, you can't just change the brushes on the motor. You have to probably send it back to the vendor or whatever. I like the brushless because they're actually smaller, and they feel better. It's not as lucky. And the heat, for some reason, the heat is a big factor that you don't get with brushless. Now, as far as specific questions about them, I don't know. You know, it's so. What else can I say?
Jim, you got anything to add to that?
No, I don't.
No.
Well, this was a great topic.
No, I mean, just the way they work is like, a brushed motor.
Yeah.
The power comes in through a slotted disc called a commutator. So the power pulses as it goes into the rotating part. So they'll call that the rotor. And around the outside where the stator is, and it's for stationary stator, so it doesn't move, you're going to have a lot of slot of long permanent magnets around the outside of it. And as the electricity pulses through the coils in the rotor, the part that has the commutator ring on it, then it gets pulled along the magnets, and the way that the power is pulsed on the coils causes the motor to spin. In a brushless motor, you don't have that. It's actually the opposite. The magnets are in the rotor, and the stator has the coils in it.
Exactly.
But there has to be some electronics to that. Like Al said, you want to build a 3-phase type power arrangement around the outside of the motor. And since we typically in a little drill or something like that put DC on this, you have to turn the DC into AC to make the motor run. And that's where all the electronics come in. So you'll typically have like a speed sensor on a disc that's attached to the rotor, and you'll have some electronics in there to pulse the power on and off to the coils. But two different technologies. Now, in like if you go to it's another type of brushless motor, it looks more like a pancake. It's really flat, but that one is can't remember the name of it. But they're experimenting with changing the way they put the magnets on the stators so that they can get more surface area from the magnet in contact with the rotor so that they can get more power out of it. And the ED industry is really going heavy on trying to figure that out right now. I wish I could remember the name of that motor, but it's kind of like triangular shaped magnets, around it, and then the shaft for the motor comes through the middle of them with the coils around on the stator. Man, I knew what the name of that thing was too. It's like a phased. Yeah, I can't remember now. Probably should have wrote all this down.
Yeah, you probably should have.
It's kind of like Al said. I mean, the old days it was all.
I told you all to do some research today.
All
Didn't I,
I
Don?
have to say is I changed motor bounce on the Focus, went out and fixed the
I don't want to hear anything about that anymore.
Came back. What else?
I'm trying to get. I had a picture, but I guess I'm gonna have to view it like that. Hold on, just give me 1 second.
I don't know. I was always told the difference between brushless and brushed motors is whether or not you want to put the aggravation into putting new brushes in it or just buy a new one.
Well, now that's if you go to that part right there, you're wrong because brushes are really, really, really cheap and they're very, very easy on most motors to change. You just have a couple of plugs. You take the plugs out and you take the old brushes out, which are attached to a spring, and you push the new brushes back in the hole and you put the plug back in and you're ready to go. Now, the problem being is most people let the brushes part go so long that it wears down, that it bothers or damages the commutator?
The commutator,
It damages or armature. No, that's on an armature is on the a wound armature is on a brushed motor. So it damages the armature.
The brushes sit on. The brushes sit on.
Yeah, it's a commutator. I'm sorry. Yeah, the brushes wear out the commutator. So when they wear out the commutator, you put the new brushes in. Yeah, you put the new brushes in, and guess what? It eats up your brushes real quick because the commutator is bad.
Well, I guess it would just depend on the tool then, because most of the tools I got out there, I'm not going to use enough to burn out a brush on.
Well, and that is true too. If you're not using them like in a professional, where you're using them every day working in construction and whatever, you're not going to burn them out that quick. Other than that, under a heavy load, like if you put a drill underneath a heavy load for a long period of time, you'll burn out the motor, or you burn out the brushes quicker because it's under a heavy load. But under normal circumstances, it's easy to change the brushes. But like I said, people make the mistake and let the brushes go too long, and it messes up the commentator. Now it's just, yeah, you might as well buy a new one, because now time you go try to replace the commentator, you're going to have to disassemble the entire motor, and to do that, it's just not worth it. But,
yeah, and if you do put them in, they sit there and bounce up and down and actually burn back and forth, and eventually it'll mess it up totally.
Is that where sparks start flying out of the motor?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It depends on what broke in it, though, because it could be from.
Am I allowed to show
something
just
sticking
a?
across
Yeah,
the
I
top
can't.
of the coils on the motor. I've seen that before. When I worked in the steel mills, we had motors that were as tall as a house. These big mill drive motors that were, just like 1,000 horsepower. They were huge. We had to call the power company when we were ready to start the mill up, because it would suck so much juice out of the electrical grid.
Did they have brushes on those motors?
Oh yeah.
How big were they? How big were they?
Big as your arm, man. They were really thick, and then they had one for each phase too. So you'd have a three ring commutator on the motor, and you would get a bunch of brushes. There were more than one brush, so you would just get a bunch of brushes on them so they could transfer enough power to it. But with the thing with the drills and stuff, the brushless motors are a lot easier to speed control too. So that's one of the advantages over it, because when you start to try to speed control a brushed motor, then you've got to phase shift one of the coils to get it started. That's why you have starting capacitors on motors. You have to phase shift one of just kick it out a little bit, and then it'll cause the motor to start running. And then once it gets up to speed, usually there's something in the motor that has some springs on it, and when the centrifugal force on that little assembly gets up, it kicks out and turns a switch on inside the motor that takes the capacitor out of the starting circuit. But it's there's a lot of stuff involved with it.
Well, would you get more, like if you had a hand drill, one was brushed and one was brushless, would you get more torque out of the brushed?
Yes, brushless is actually more powerful in the long run than brushed.
Okay.
And when we're talking about drills and everything now I'm not going to step out and say that about factory motors or anything like that, but I know that the you take your trying to think of the name of your impact drivers. Most of your impact drivers are actually brushless, and the reason being is because they can torque out more power than the brush can. Yeah, I've seen an impact driver now. In my walk and everything's all brushless. My impact drivers.
But for the same size motor, you're going to get more power out of the brushless one.
Yeah.
But a 1 horsepower motor in a brushless is going to be one size, coil or whatever, and then the other one's going to be a little bit bigger or smaller depending on which way you're looking at them.
The only impact drivers I've ever really used been pneumatic anyway. So
yeah, there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Jeremy Fielding. I wish we could get him on the show once, but he's an electrical engineer, and he does a really good job of explaining how motors work and stuff like that.
Well, I'm Googling as you go, and I hate to fact check it, but it says that there is no inherent advantage of brushless motor torque versus brushed motor torque.
Does say that?
Yeah, it comes down to the fact that brushed motors do not have the fine controls of brushless motors and cannot sense when the load on the motor increases the torque, requiring more power. So just trying to.
I don't know. I think there's more of an advantage.
I think there's more torque in a brushless, but
Well, maybe
You know,
not
if they're
more
saying there
but
ain't.
more advantages.
According to IBT Solutions, okay?
Because you can't speed control a brushed motor, AC motor, just by lowering the voltage to it. You've got to change
No.
the phase of the power going into it.
Right,
Exactly.
right, exactly. Because brushless motors have a finer control, and when they sense that they're losing their torque, the system kicks in and allows for much higher torque levels from that brushless motor
Yeah.
because it compensates for it, whereas the brushed one can't sense it. See, that's where the
But
electronics.
you can't use a brushed motor around in a gas area,
Explosive
something like that.
environment, yeah.
Yeah, because unless you have something like
Because
that,
this,
TEND,
as the brushes go bad, you look in the back of the brush motor and you'll see sparks
Yep.
flying everywhere.
Yep.
well, even if they don't go bad, you're going to have microscopic,
Yeah.
where the brushes meet up with. So you need like a totally enclosed fan-cooled TEFC motors that you'd put in a gas area like that.
Yeah. I'm
Good
trying my
evening,
best
Jimbo.
to get this picture up, but it's I'm having problems finding the.
Paul, help him. Oh wait, Paul's gone. Oh, you're having problems finding the picture. I got you.
Yeah, I'm trying. Well, it won't show as a regular picture. You can't show a picture. It's got to be a screen. Here, let me see if I can do this.
A window, a screen, or I can't remember the other one, but there was like 3 different. Donna, I hear your machine in the background.
Nope.
No?
I got nothing going. I got nothing going right now.
That was strange.
Y'all'd have to mute me if I had my machine going.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, they make that much noise?
Well, I put it on 1,000 stitches per minute, so it just really goes fast.
Oh, that motor I was thinking of is an axial flux motor.
Ooh, does it go on the DeLorean?
No, just looking.
That's the flux capacitor.
That's the flux capacitor
Well, I
motor.
thought there'd be an axial flux motor inside the flux capacitor, or
No.
along with it.
I know it was too expensive as it was. Why add that?
I saw a commentary or whatever, on the DeLorean. It was really interesting. There towards the end, they started to they were showing the DeLorean, and they kept the DeLorean outside and stuff. The one from the movie Back to the Future. But anyway, they had like this reunion, and they were embarrassed because the enthusiasts brought better looking DeLoreans, better kept up, the fans than the actual original DeLorean. I mean, and I believe it. I believe it. There's a lot of geeks out there that go all out. I'm not certain, why or who, but anyway.
Is anybody checking the?
I saw a Jimbo out there.
Yeah,
I know,
Jim,
but checking the chat for questions.
I just answered Aussie Man's question. He said, "Why don't you start out with telling the difference between the two?" I told him one has brushes and one don't.
Well, it don't.
And Aussie Man says brushless motors with brushes are half the price of brushless.
Yes. Yeah, the brushless ones are more expensive. Which do you guys prefer? Do you and let me take it this far. What about corded items? We're going away to battery and stuff. And what about the stuff with cords? Do you like those better than the cordless? Now, personally, I like having 2 cordless drills, one for doing pilot holes and the other one to screw in the screws. Okay, I mean I really like that. And the cordless ones are a lot lighter than the corded ones for sure, and the ones with brushes for sure. Even they're a lot lighter. So, which ones do you guys like to use? I mean, I'm looking out there, brushless every time. Aussie Man says. I guess that was in continuation of my comment.
I guess it depends on what you're using them for. But,
I go cordless over corded every time. But I'm out here in the boonies and I don't want to have to do an extension cord to wherever I'm going to be
Yeah,
working.
exactly. Yeah,
It just-
Aussie, man, you got 5 cordless? Yeah, I do too. I've got 2 old style 18-volt big DeWalt's, with the big base, and then I've got some which had brushes, and then I've got some of the XPS brushless ones that have the little 20 volt batteries that slip in, and I've got some Ryobis and stuff too that somebody gave me. I went ahead and got some battery packs for that.
Yeah, them batteries are expensive.
Yeah, they are. They are.
well, there's a lot in the batteries too, because they have to have charging circuitry.
Yep.
And then they've got, lithium ion batteries that look like AA batteries about the size of a C cell.
Yeah.
Why?
It depends on. I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
But that charging, you got to have the charge controller in it. And then that also has electronics in it to help run the motor. So,
And when you need it, the battery's always dead.
It just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing something right there that ain't gonna be all that hard or time intensive or whatever, I'll use the cordless. If I'm building a deck, I'll go ahead and put a plug in so I ain't got to worry about power or charging the battery.
yep.
I still got backups for my jigsaw, my drill, my belt sander, and the circular saw. I don't use them. They're in a box under the bench, but if I run out of battery power and I need something done, I know they're there. So,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even own cordless ones of those because I don't
I've
use them enough to have them.
I've got both, and really the reason I've got both is because I've progressed into cordless of a Sawzall, and then drill. First of all, drill was the first one probably that went cordless, but a drill, Sawzall. What else do I have that's course? Oh, a circular saw also, and a jigsaw. And what makes those nice is I can put like a fine cutting blade on that cordless one, and just have it for those instances where I need to just cut a little piece out or something like that, versus the corded skill saw, to run, to rip 2x4s with. Obviously, I'm not ripping 2x4s, but you get the point, right?
Yeah. When we were doing the renovation, I had a drill under the kitchen sink to run the pipes up to the new location. And I went through 4 batteries on the cordless drills.
Yep.
Because the floor was that thick. It was literally 7 inches thick when I finally got done. Even the corded drill was underpowered. So I had to break out the old-fashioned bit brace and do it by hand. Took longer, but it actually was easier.
I have, Jimbo says I have both, but you don't have to change battery. If you're changing batteries every 10 to 15 minutes, something's wrong with your batteries. I have Ryobis, and I can drill and drill and drill with my Ryobi drill, and don't have to change them out every 10 to 15 minutes. So you ain't got the right something.
I don't know. I've got a rigid circular saw, and that thing will suck the batteries down a lot faster than it doesn't.
Well, now the circular saw, even my Ryobi one does, yes, but it's not every 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh no!
I mean, I built my deck with my Ryobi circular saw. I cut probably at least 30. Oh no, it's got to be more than that. Probably close to 50 4-foot 2x4s, and went through 2 batteries.
Wow.
Let me tell you the rule on that, Russ. If your battery ever runs out just before you finish the job completely, it's run out every 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. That's the rule. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, but you see, that's the reason I have backups to the backups. I have like 5 or 6 batteries. So if the first one dies, I toss it and throw the second one in. If that one dies, I toss it and throw the third one in. If I go through 6 batteries, something's wrong.
See,
I can build a house with 6 batteries.
Donna said batteries are expensive.
They are.
I've bought DeWalt drills that come with 2 batteries for $99. Okay, and bought 2 drills. So I got 4 batteries and 2 drills, right?
Right.
And I went to try to buy batteries, and they were like 2 batteries for $120. Now, how does that figure? I'll go buy a drill and 2 batteries for less money. I don't get
That's
it.
why I have about probably at least minimum of 10 drills.
Yes.
So you got your sale going on, and you get the drill plus the flashlights. So I probably have
Yes.
them with
Yeah.
a charger,
I don't know.
batteries,
Yeah.
cheaper than getting 2 batteries.
Yes.
You've
exactly.
got me on that one. I don't know, but you're right. You can actually buy a drill, the charger, and a battery cheaper than you can buy a battery.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But
And
now,
for me-
what I usually do to resolve that problem is if you will go on to Amazon and type in just like certain types of battery,
Yeah.
they have knockoffs.
Yep.
And I ordered a couple of them a while back, and the knockoffs are working just as good as and they were half the price. Like they wanted $100 for a battery for my 40 volt, or $115 for my 40 volt blower. The original battery finally went bad, and I bought a new battery. It's still good. Well, I went on and found out that the knockoff was $49.95, and I ordered one of them. And I've been running it now for 6 months, and it works just as good and it don't have any problem charging.
And
So
see,
I would look for a knockoff to compared to the regular brand name like Milwaukee or whatever, if you're looking for one, because they do make them. They got them out there. I found them on all kinds of them on Amazon. What was you gonna say, Al?
Aussie Man saying he's got a cordless chainsaw. So that
Yeah.
shows that you can have something that's battery
Yes.
powered and cut wood.
Yes,
And honestly,
they make. Yeah,
I was
I've got
cutting
one.
this last weekend firewood with my Sawzall, my old style DeWalt Sawzall, and I went through a couple batteries. I can't say I didn't, but yeah, I can see a chainsaw. It cuts better than a Sawzall when it's going through wood and stuff, and I'm sure the circuitry's a little better for it too. But
yeah, they
Really?
make cordless chainsaws. They've been making them for a while. Ryobi has one, but it's 40 volt. They've got a series of 40 volt lawn tools. They've even got a 40 volt lawnmower.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did
And
a product test for one off brand Sirocco, and it's a 40. It works fine.
yeah,
But as far as drills go, I don't do enough hard, intensive labor that requires the power of a $200 to $300 DeWalt or Ryobi. So I always
Right.
end up getting the Black & Decker $40, $50. It's still a good drill. It's just not designed to do heavy work.
Well, the battery itself, what I've heard is if you have a battery that has a higher voltage rating, you'll get it's mathematically correct. You'll get more power out of it basically because you've got more voltage right behind it. But I've seen some 7-volt batteries that wouldn't even last, turning 2 screws, and then some 12s, and then they've progressively gotten more and more and more, or higher and higher and higher voltage. Russ mentioned the 40 volt, and I've even seen lawn tractors that are electrically, like e-lawn tractors. Total batteries is all they are. Lawn tractors. But
put four 60 volt battery packs.
yeah, the technology is getting better and better as time goes on.
See, the example is, which one? Original Ryobi lithium. Here's the knockoff.
Yeah.
They're almost identical.
Yeah.
So, and I get more life out of the knockoff.
yeah, that's what I said. I was really surprised at. I mean, I did it by accident. I just typed in battery 4, and I guess putting that 4 in there is what it brought up the knockoffs.
Yeah.
I didn't specifically say original manufacturing battery for Milwaukee or whatever. I just typed in, and when it come up with the knockoffs, I'm like, holy crap, they got as many brands of knockoffs as they do tools.
Yeah. Same with DeWalt. Now my DeWalt battery is out on the pool deck right now, but these are both knockoffs, and they last longer.
Yeah, they're just as good or better. I found that out. So,
Yeah.
All right, share screen. I think I finally figured out how to do this.
Even without Paul here.
Well, I had to turn it into.
Awesome.
There you
Russ.
go.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I had to turn it. I had to turn it. Here's how I had to do it. I had to copy the picture, then take it and put it on my computer, then send it from one email address to another email address so that I could show you. If you'll notice, this is coming from Google, my email. So that's the only way I can do it, because it has to be in a tab. It can't be anything else. But this is a picture of, let me see if I can get this full screen. Yes.
Yeah.
Of the two different types of brush and brushless motor. Now, the brush motor's on the right, and we were talking about the brushes. And if you notice those orange square or I shouldn't say square, they're not square, they're rectangle shapes. They are pushing up against the commutator, and that power goes through the brushes into the commutator and into the wound armature by magnetic transfer, however you want to put it, and that causes the armature to turn around and around and around and make the world go round, so to speak. Where if you look over at the other side, you have the stator, and actually I think there's 3 or 4 stators. That's just showing 2, but if I'm not mistaken, there's 3, at least 3, isn't there? Or is there? I think there has to be.
Isn't that all the way around?
No, it goes all the way around it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just because it's a cut through.
Okay. Well, I was looking at today, and they actually showed motors with 3 stators.
Okay, well maybe it is, because look on the right hand side one. You know, the permanent magnet is all the way around.
All the way around. Maybe that is
armature, where that one doesn't. So maybe it is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but the stator goes around, and it actually is creating. And if you'll notice, like Jim said, the Hale effect sensor, it's got a sensor on there to tell it the position that it is in at all times, and it sends the charge through, the electromagnetic charge through the stators, and that causes the rotor to turn. And yes, it's more complicated than just that. Jim did a pretty good explanation of
He did a great
good explanation, not pretty good, a good explanation of talking about how it works. And I will tell you, brushed motors, like he was talking about, depending on the size of them. Now, normally not in your drills and stuff like that. But when we're talking about a 2 or 3 horsepower motor, it usually has a capacitor to go with it to get that thing started, a starting capacitor.
Yep.
To like Jim said, to change or alter the field as it goes in at first to get it to rock and roll to start off. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it unbalances one of the phases, so the motor tries to pull itself to that unbalanced phase, and then once it starts to turn, it gets up to a certain speed. Then there's like a disc around the shaft that's spring loaded,
right, and it flies open.
The force flies up, and it disconnects the capacitor and hooks the motor, that phase, back up to the regular power.
Right.
So then it's running.
But yeah, it's got to have that start. Now the little ones, the drills and stuff don't have to have that. But we're talking about motors that get up, good size, horsepower, 3 horsepower, 5 horsepower. My compressor has got like a 3 horsepower motor on it, because I got a big Mac Daddy 85 gallon tank, and it has a starting capacitor on it. Matter of fact, I couldn't find one that was anywhere close. I needed the compressor running like today, and I called around. I couldn't get one that matched, that would fit in the housing on that compressor. So I ordered one, and I took it to an electronics place and said, "Do you have any capacitor that will match this?" He goes, "Yeah, but not that size." And I said, "I don't care what size it is." I took that sucker and strapped it on the side of the motor and plugged it in, and I fired that sucker off and finished sandblasting. Then when the regular one came in, I put it in a position and put the cover back on it and save that one capacitor on my shelf. So the next time that happens, I got a capacitor for it.
Well, that's kind of how you can tell a capacitor's bad, because if you can get to the shaft and spin it by hand, and the motor starts turning real slow, and then builds up speed, then it's a capacitor.
Yeah.
The capacitor is the part that'll still light you up even when it's unplugged, ain't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's holding an electrical charge. Usually, what you should do as soon as you take the wires off, well, first take a picture so that you'll know how to put the wires back on. Yeah. Because sometimes they are and are not marked on the top of the capacitor. I found that out. So anyway, take a picture. Then when you pull the wires loose, run a screwdriver across the poles to kill
Russ,
it. Yes.
When you get a chance, show my screen. I've got a really good shot of a 3-stator.
I thought there was 3 stators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It shows it a lot better than that one showing 2.
Sure.
Yeah, if you see any bulging in a capacitor on a motor, just throw it away and put a new one in it.
Really?
Otherwise, you're gonna have tar all over your face if it blows up.
We've had whole labs full of motherboards that have had bulging capacitors.
Those tantalum capacitors?
No, electrolytics.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
See, there's the 3 stators that Russ is talking about.
See, that's what I was talking about. That it don't necessarily encase the whole armature, but it has 3 of them. That's some of the ones that I was looking at or knew about.
The stator though has a copper winding in it.
Yes.
And the electronics for the motor pulse that copper winding on, so the rotor can spin around it.
Like they'll fire in sequence or whatever you want to call it. Like the top one will fire, the next one over to your right will fire, then the other one will fire to get that thing rolling and turning. But then if we want to reverse it, it just reverses the firing sequence, so to speak.
And then there's another couple of kinds of motors that we all use. One's a stepper motor.
Oh yeah,
they're used on. We completely forgot about those, but they're used on all our little CNCs and our laser cutters and the engravers and stuff like that. So the way those work is that they'll usually have 4 sets of coils, and the magnets are on the rotors. And then as you pulse the coils, the magnet will like incrementally shift like that. So if you send like 10 pulses to it, it'll try to move 10 times, whatever resolution it has on it. Like say it's 1 pulse equals 1 millimeter. You pulse it, it's going to go a millimeter, and then it's going to go another millimeter, and it'll just keep doing that. And you can go forward and backwards with that one too. But it'll have 4 wires coming out of it. And 2 go to one set of coils, and 2 go to the other set of coils.
Yeah, but a stepper motor, in all sincerity, is a whole different kind of beast compared to
it is.
Compared to a regular motor that we're using for drills and impact wrenches and stuff like that. Yeah, there are 2 different types of beasts. I was amazed about a stepper motor when I started learning about them. I was like, wow, really? That sucker will actually move 1 millimeter? You tell it to move 1 millimeter?
It'll move in tenths of a millimeter.
Yeah, you can't do a drill that way.
And then there's servo motors too, that whatever position this motor over here has, this one over here has the same. So they're both tied together, kind of like that. In instrumentation and in airplanes, the sensors, there's motors that sense where the flaps are at, and they also make the motor or the servo sensor basically in the gauge also moves. So if it moves a little bit down, it shows a deflection over here. It's so there's another type of motor.
Yeah, the servo motor will have something like an encoder built into the back of it. So as it moves, like you said, picks up
all the other. Yes.
Yep. But you can run that encoder feedback right into the motor and speed control it.
Cool. Cool. Do we have any questions out there? Lynn's handcrafted wood signs is wanting to know what's happening. Or he said he's sorry late. But
Well, welcome, welcome.
do we have any questions about the different types of motors to see if we can help you understand? I mean, personally, I prefer brushless since I found out about them. I don't have the problems that I had with brushed motors. They've seem to last a little bit longer than the brush motors from my using them since they've come out. The batteries were the problem with the brushless motors when I first started using them, because the batteries would go bad real quick but now they've solved that problem and the batteries seem to last a lot longer compared. Here's another thing that I learned about the batteries I take that back. Here's something I learned about lithium ion batteries. Do not run them dead.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, I learned not to run them dead. I have read several articles and then I went on and researched it myself. And I did that one time by accident. I ran it to the point that it wouldn't pull anymore. And I put it on the charger. It wouldn't charge. So what I ended up having to do was take another battery of equal power. Like I had 2 DeWalt batteries that were 24 volt. And I ended up hooking wires to each battery so that the one battery would charge the other battery about, bring the charge up on, because what happens is the charger has to sense power in the battery in order to be able to charge it. And if it's dead, it won't charge it. So once I gave that battery somewhat of a charge with another battery, I stuck it on the charger and it started working.
Yeah, you got to fake out the charge controller in the battery.
Yep. So do not run a lithium. When you start seeing that it's starting to lose a little bit, it will quit. But there's a difference between quitting and keeping on pulling the trigger and making it work. Because that's what I did. I just kept on pulling the trigger and make it work a little bit more, make it work, trying to get that last little bit out of it. Because it's not like the, what was the other batteries?
The copper batteries, copper top batteries, or
not the copper top batteries.
It's like the first generation batteries came out for drills.
Yeah. What was the drill? What was the batteries that were in radios and walkie-talkies and everything before the lithium ion?
Alkaline.
Carbon based. Carbon.
No, it was a specific type of battery.
Metal hydride.
No, hold on.
Metal hydride.
Carbon is what I'm thinking.
No, they weren't carbon. God, what the heck is it?
Alkaline?
I bought some.
I was thinking that.
No, they weren't. I bought some and replaced them in my old first generation battery.
Lithium. Metal.
NiCad batteries.
NiCad.
Nickel cadmium.
Yep, nickel cadmium. NiCad was the generation before lithium ion. Now, NiCad had a memory. So, therefore, you wanted to run that rascal dead because it would maintain, like if, let's say, for instance, I have a drill and I use it for 15 minutes every day, right?
Yep, only good for
15. And it will get used to that 15 minutes and then you put it on the charger. So, it only has to bring that up to a 15 minutes and it's done. Well, now the battery starts maintaining a memory where it'll only work for 15 minutes over a period of time. Yeah, they were told us about our walkie-talkies because all of our walkie-talkies at one time were NiCad. And they said, if you're going to run the walkie-talkie, turn it on that morning and run it dead. Because we used to have a bank of batteries for NiCads. And so they said, run that sucker dead because you have more batteries on the truck and put a brand new battery in it. But you run it until it didn't work no more because they maintained a memory. So, but NiCads, but the lithium changed that. And like I said, do not run the lithium dead. In other words, once you saw, it'll run down kind of slow. You'll see it and it'll quit. But if you continue to let it sit for a few seconds and pull the trigger, it'll start working again for a little bit. Well, you do that and it'll kill the battery. And like I said, I got mine to work by pairing it up. It has, if you look at the battery, even though it has those fins where they lock into each other, it will have, one will say positive, one will say negative, and then they'll have some other letters on it or whatever. You just find the positive and negative one and hook it to the other battery, positive, negative, and let one battery charge another one up enough to get enough charge in it where you can put it on the charger and it'll take off and start charging again. I thought I'd ruined it. Matter of fact, I threw the first one away. And I wished I hadn't now, because I was going like, dang, I threw a $50 battery away and I could have charged it like this. Then I started, because I'm like, this ain't right. Something's wrong. And I read, and you should not kill them because they don't want to recharge. So that's just to throw that out there for all you people. Do not run lithium ion. NiCad not been very, very good to me. Yeah, NiCads were a pain in the butt, to be honest with you.
I don't think I ever had much of a problem with them.
Well, if you take care of them and know how to use them, they weren't bad. But if you don't let them run dead and use them up, and they get that memory, they suck. Now they're ruined.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah. Nickel NiCad, nickel cadmium. Twitch quit working.
Uh-oh.
That's funny.
Twitch.
It must have got a twitch.
Yeah. It twitched itself out of working. Says this site cannot be reached.
The Chinese have hacked them.
Yeah.
They can have it. See you, Donna.
I'm on Twitch. Bye, Donna.
She had to leave.
Yeah. Got to run. Okay. Catch you next week, she says.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we're running over, but we were a little late starting, so
yeah,
wasn't too terribly worried about it. But anyway, did we see any questions out there that we?
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Scroll through.
Austin Man says Chinese brush motors very crappy and blow up lots. I don't disagree or agree with you, but I will tell you this much: pretty much everything we own or we get in the United States nowadays, when it comes to drills, whether it be DeWalt or Milwaukee or they all come from the same place. And guess where? China.
And even if it's put together in the States, if it says made in America, the parts come
it's not. The parts come from China. Yeah. That's like these battery operated cars that they were saying that were made in the United States, and finally made them stop that because all the parts were coming from China. They'd ship them over here on a boat and take them off the boat and take them to a warehouse and put them together. That's not made in America. And that's
my truck is multicultural. The transmission was built in Canada. The engine was built in Mexico. And the brake parts came from China, and the whole thing was assembled in Tennessee.
America.
Yeah. It's a multicultural truck.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, everything's coming. I mean, now don't get me wrong. There is a difference in the quality. I will say that. In other words, a Ryobi drill is not equal to a Milwaukee and equal to a DeWalt, even rigid. The Ryobi is the cheaper of the bunch. And it's just a matter of whether they put a $10 part in it, a $20 part, or a $30 part, which naturally the $30 part's going to hold up better. It'd be like a bearing, a $10 bearing, a $20 bearing, or a $30 bearing. The $30 bearing has been manufactured with more precision, so that therefore it's going to last longer than the $10 bearing. They whip that thing out and throw it in the can. So,
I don't know if it's that it's a lot of it. There's only a few companies that make tools anymore.
Yes, one. That's what I'm saying.
It's just how are they designed.
You think it's the design more than the parts?
Yeah, I think the Milwaukee engineers are going to design their stuff the way they want to design it. Their design could be better than rigids. That's why they hold up better, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're telling the people in China or Taiwan or Vietnam or whatever how to build it and what to make. I mean, the company I work for, we don't make anything in China, but we've got a big manufacturing plant in Vietnam, and we've got a big one in Singapore and Czech Republic, and our engineering group in Germany we've got guys that live there, and they make sure everything gets built correctly.
Right.
So it's the design. It's whoever's making a better design. Actually, if you just put in who makes what tool on Google, there's a bunch of little charts that pop up and look there. And
well, a lot of your companies are there's 2 or 3 major manufacturers in the around, and one of them is Stanley Black and Decker.
Oh, they crap now.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying, but the company still owns, like, if I'm not mistaken, Stanley Black and Decker owns DeWalt.
Actually, I think it's the other way around. I think DeWalt owns them.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. But
They're all on.
I grew up, my dad was Craftsman, Stanley. It was the way we lived in our house. I wouldn't buy.
I got it in front of me, Russ, if you want me to share my screen.
You already got it?
Yeah.
You already got it. Share it. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't buy a Craftsman tool anymore.
Here, let me.
Yeah, a Craftsman is just, it's, well, here's the thing. They're still upholding, and Lowe's is upholding if you break the tool, bring it back, and they'll give you a new one.
Really?
Yes, they are. I talked to the manager at Lowe's where I go over in Plant City, because that seems to be the better of the stores I've been to. And he was telling, he was telling me that I see it now. Sorry about that. It took me a second to find it. Yep, they're
Stanley. It looks like Stanley owns all the.
Sorry.
Yep, I told you DeWalt. They own DeWalt.
Yep. Mac Tools.
Yep. Yeah.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yep. It is. Here's Apex Tools.
Yep. That's all their brands.
Yeah. Trying to see if I notice any other ones. I don't.
Now, some of these brands we don't see because they're in like Canada, they're in Europe and places like that. They're not actually over here.
And look at this, Ryobi and Milwaukee are owned by TTI.
Made by the same company, TTI. Yes.
And Hoover is too.
Yep. The reason I know that is because there was a guy in Home Depot before Christmas that was setting, and he had a red Milwaukee shirt on, and he was setting up a Ryobi display for Christmas. And I looked at him and I went like, what the heck are you doing? You're a Milwaukee guy and you're setting up a display for Ryobi? He goes, TTI owns both companies and I work for Milwaukee. And yes, they told me to set up a Ryobi display, and I'm setting up a Ryobi display.
Yep.
And I said, like really?
The vacuum company, Hoover, Dirt Devil, Oric.
Yep.
Right?
Oric.
Right?
Yeah.
I noticed that. Very good. Very good, Chris. I didn't notice that.
Vax, I think, is a European vacuum.
Yep.
Wow. And Home Light. There it is, the other one. That's funny.
But it's very interesting that, that right there explains it all. So,
yep, sure does.
My decision on Aussie Man says my decision on what power tool to buy seems always what I can afford. What?
Yeah.
And then Chris says Russ goes to Lowe's. What the hell? I've been to Lowe's. I won't deny it. I have gone to Lowe's when Lowe's has a better price. That's one of the things.
I get a better veterans discount at Lowe's because it doesn't.
They got a better veterans. Sometimes they have something that Home Depot don't have. I've run into that.
Yeah. But Home Depot puts some on it.
I needed some stuff for picture frames, and Home Depot didn't have it, and so I went to around here. The next little Lakeland's closest to Mulberry. We're south of Lakeland. Actually, their city limits touch each other. But now Plant City is probably about 30 minutes from me. And it's another little city, but it's in another county, Hillsborough County, but it's only 30 minutes. It's actually closer to go there than it is to North Lakeland, to the Lowe's out there in North Lakeland. Oh, yeah. Well, the management team and the people out at North Lakeland suck. I've been out there several times. So I go to the Lowe's in Plant City. I've had very good luck that people seem more knowledgeable and friendly to help you. over at the one in Plant City. So that's the one I do. And yes, sometimes you have to suck it up and I have to go there because, I was looking for a specific brand air conditioner, and Home Depot didn't carry them. Lowe's did, so I went to Lowe's.
Hey, Al, can you look in our chat?
I just saw that. Isn't that the same one I just put up?
Yeah, it is, but Bill, Aussie wanted it.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still want to know what
Give them a
Scoopy
second,
is.
and they will get you that.
And here it is. Compliments of Jim. I still have it up even. I didn't even see that. Ooh, will that even send?
Should.
What is that? What does he mean? Russ, it is the plants they are smoking there. Okay. Jimmy says the only choice I have is Lowe's or Menards. Yeah, some places don't have it at Home Depot.
I'll
hey,
send it.
Jimmy needs to explain something too. Hang on. Where was it?
What is a Scoopy?
Yeah. Type it in the chat.
What is a Scoopty? I have no clue what the
Yeah.
hell a Scoopty.
He said he loans his tools out. He gets them back, and all he gets back is a Scoopty or something like that. I can't find it.
Okay.
He said that now.
Yeah. I tend not to loan my tools out.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
come
either.
back and they come back covered in Scoopties.
Yeah.
That'd be poopty.
Well, I
Well,
think
it'll come
what
back
really,
off.
yeah, I think what really broke me of that is I have done it before and had problems, but I loaned a nail gun to my daughter, and to put down some shoe mole, and I showed her how to work it, showed her how to oil it and everything, and just make sure put a couple, because you don't have an automatic oiler, make sure you put a couple of drops of oil in it, and she had it for 2 or 3 weeks, and I called her back and said, I need to get my nail gun back from you. Okay, I'll bring it to you. Well, I should have figured that the time period of her waiting for a while before she brought it back to me might have come into play here. And then when I finally got it back, I threw it in the drawer, and a few days later I needed it. I popped it back out, hooked it up. Wouldn't work. It was, I could not. Yeah. So I was like, you're kidding me, right? So, I tore it apart, and she had not put oil in it. And I don't know how much they used it.
Oops.
But it had actually wore out some of the what it does as a pneumatic tool. The oil helps keep the water separated, or helps to lubricate it so that the water in your air compressor doesn't damage the tool. And you would have to have a nice water separator, one to the point like you're spray painting cars. A high quality water separator, because these little cheap things don't work.
And also, multiple separators work too.
Yes, it goes through to like 3 or 4. Yes, you're right. So that's why I'm saying you'd have to have a high dollar separator to get no humidity, so to speak. And most people don't do that in the construction industry, so they compensate by you keep oil in your tools, and that keeps the humidity from damaging your equipment. When we used to run, and I was roofing, I had a big compressor. I had an auto oiler that oiled the guns in the lines. It kept oil in the lines. And so I didn't have to worry about oil in the guns. They just fired as much as they wanted, and the automatic oiler would feed the oil into the lines. It went to and literally you could take one of the hoses and hold it up for a little while, and you'd see a little bit of oil come out of it. So you knew it was working. But in the construction industry, they compensate the damage that water does by oil. And by not oiling it, water just tore up the inside of that thing.
Wow.
So I had to replace O-rings, and boy, I was mad. And by her letting it sit there for 3 weeks or more before I got it back, the water was just damaging more and more and more.
Yeah.
So
I went to us with my kid sister. I had to go to her house and ask to borrow my drill back.
yeah.
She only had it for about 4 months.
As far as that goes, it depends on what it is and who it is.
And then when she brought it back, she couldn't find the chuck. It was a plug-in one, and there was a broken drill bit in it. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's funny. Well, I learned right then and there that for some reason this computer is. Oh, I see what it is. My
You know, we felt
let me go. Well, I'm fixing to get off here, so it doesn't matter.
I'm getting away.
My router is not working. It's flashing red, so I don't know what happened.
Uh-huh.
And the reason this computer is working is I have a direct line from my main Spectrum modem that comes from my bedroom all the way into this bedroom and hooks to it's only like 60 feet or whatever, but it comes from that modem all the way into this room and plugs into this computer. So this computer is tied direct to the main modem. Then I have a second line coming in this room that comes from the main modem that comes into a router so I can have wireless. This is for rooms so far away from the main that the wireless signal is poor. So I put a router in here and for the wireless signal. Well, that router also controls these other computers that are sitting over here and their connection. So the reason I'm still on is because something happened. The wireless is flashing red, lost the signal or whatever.
Maybe your router needs brushes. I've got a default router in the shop that I need brushes for. Maybe it needs brushes.
There you go.
Maybe.
Did you oil it, Russ?
Yeah.
Now, back in
And the
Mass, I had a
cycles-
hard wire into the house because I kept losing the signal out in the shop.
Yeah. The best way is hardwired. That's
I had an extender. The router is literally 20 feet away from me inside the house,
yeah.
but I couldn't keep the signal strong.
Yeah. No, I use routers. I don't use extenders.
Wires.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
had a hard line, and every time we did a show,
See, I can do my own on my own running cable and everything. So that's what I do. But yeah, and I also found out that switches are faster as far as for signal, as far as a wired signal for network. Switches are faster.
Well, switches are within the network. It's what connects everything within the network, and then the routers connect the different networks together. So So as far as being faster, whichever your slowest one is your bottleneck. So
yes,
it's
But what I
don't know the point I'm trying to make other than switches are faster than hubs because you have more what's called collision domains. But
that's what I meant. The switches are faster than hubs. That's what I was trying to do.
definitely, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I use switches instead of hubs. What I do is on the back of my Spectrum modem, I only have 4 Cat5 connectors. So one goes to my main computer. One goes to the switch, and then the switch goes to other rooms like my wife's office and everything else. And then one comes to this. Let's see. One goes to my main computer. One comes to this computer, and one goes to that wired network, and one goes to my switch. Yeah, that's it. Main computer, switch, 2 in this room. And then the switch goes to the living room, goes to my wife's bedroom, goes to the other room. So every room in this house has a wired connection. And then we also have, I have 3 routers in this house. The one main router, the one in here, and then my wife was complaining that the signal wasn't that good, and she uses one of the smart TVs, which use wireless. So I put a router in her room so that she would have her own router for her wireless.
I bet you that router, unless she's got an outside line, I bet you that router is acting just like a switch.
Because it probably is.
One of those routers in your household is giving IP addresses out to all the other devices in your network. So those other routers basically act like switches. And really
they do, but she needed the wireless capability.
Well, yeah, but see, here's the thing. Even the one with the wireless capability is a wireless access point, a router, and a switch in one package.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yes.
And we still call them routers.
Her smart TV works now, and I'm getting what I want.
Yeah.
So It was a fair trade. I'll put you a router in there, honey.
Those do not have those are brushless routers.
Brushless routers. Yeah, they're brushless routers.
There you go.
All right, guys. We hope we've answered whatever. And by the way, I just reset the router and it's working now. So it must have had a fluctuation. It had a fluctuation in the flux capacitor. How about that? Had a fluctuation in the flux capacitor.
The force is strong with that one.
So we can go back and redo some old shows.
Yep. So, but I hope we answered your question. I hope it was entertaining enough. I know that, like I said, once the brushless come out, here's my favorite, and I just realized it was in this room. This is my favorite impact driver.
I'll say brushes, switches, and belts. That's sounds like discipline.
Brushes and switches and belts are mine. Is the Milwaukee. I really like the Milwaukee.
And that is a brushless, correct?
Yeah, this is a brushless.
Is that a 20-volt battery?
These are 18 volt.
18s, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I like also about all the DeWalt batteries, you can't buy one without this feature unless it's an older one, is that you can push the button and see the charge. See, this is only half.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah. Yes, because when it gets down to 1, you know it's time to put it back in there before you're in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And then the fact that it also has the different settings as far it's got 1, 2, 3, and this one actually is the newest one. It has I don't know what the setting, but it's supposed to be better for screws.
Huh.
So I'll have to read up on that one. I remember reading it when I first got it, but the next thing is I bought the big Mac Daddy, and it uses 18 volt batteries too, 1/2-inch impact for taking lug nuts off. And let me tell you, that thing will break the stud, because how I found out about it is I went to take my boat trailer in to get the tires changed, and I don't know why it did it, but I learned a long time ago, because that boat goes in and out of salt water, is that when I got it, I took all the lug nuts one at a time off, and I put Never Seas on them, and I put them back on. Never Seas is a compound that you can put on bolts and threads. It's supposed to. It's for the plumbing it's for the plumbing industry. Like if you're plumbing motors and stuff that have a lot of water or corrosion stuff going through them, it helps protect the bolts or the pipe threads and
is it copper based? Is it
it's copper based. Yeah, it's
copper and oil.
Yeah, and it's supposed to protect the threads so that it doesn't seize up. Well, I took the lug nuts off, but Never Seas on them. Well, when I went to get the tires changed, then that salt water, apparently Never Seas don't like it, because he broke some lug nuts off. Ooh. And he broke it with a 1/2-inch Milwaukee impact wrench. And I said, what kind of batteries that thing take? And he goes, 18 volt. These 18 volt red lithium high output ion batteries. And I said, that's what I have at home with my little 3/8-inch driver. So I went and spent $300 and something on a 1/2-inch impact. Now I can keep, I have a 12 volt to 120 volt inverter in my truck. So I can actually put a charger, a Milwaukee charger in my truck, and keep a battery in the charger, since you can keep lithium ion batteries in their charger. And I keep the 1/2-inch impact. So if I have a flat tire, I don't have to pull out the lug wrench. I can use my impact wrench to change the tire. So to me, it was worth the $300, because I've used it.
I just called AAA and they come change my tires.
Well, I have AAA too, but if they tell you it's going to be 2 hours to get there,
I'm joking.
No, I have AAA, and I called them one time and told them I needed to have my tire changed, and the lady called me back. She says,
I knew they'd get a reaction.
2 hours away, and I said, do what? I said, tell him to forget it. I'll change my own dang tire.
Exactly.
I'm in no rush. I'll wait.
No, I didn't. I just went ahead and changed. I have a nice 4-jack. It's a smaller one, but it'll lift 3,000 pounds. That is in my toolbox, and then the impact. But it just saves time. I mean, you just go, they're off. Throw the new tire on and put them back on. And
I like to hear my air half-inch impact.
oh yeah, I've got the airs too, but the air don't work in your truck when you ain't got a compressor.
I just plug my compressor into my Prius, and anyway.
Yeah, yeah. We did out on the fire scene though years ago. Somebody come up with the smart ideas because fire trucks or big trucks and have air brakes. Actually, you can do this on any truck with air brakes, and they got the smart idea of using putting lines in with a connection for air hose for using pneumatic tools when we're on the fire scene, and it runs off the truck.
Sense. That makes total sense. Yes.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, you can't use pneumatic tools on the fire scene. Yeah, you can. You got a truck sitting right there that does 150 psi. You know, you can swap out the if the tanks, let's say, are a little small on the fire apparatus, you can order a bigger air tank and put it on. It'll do nothing but to help the air brakes.
Just don't forget to hook up the air brakes again before you leave.
No, it's piped in so that you don't unhook them, or don't forget to turn on the air compressor before you leave because you've used all the air up.
Because if you don't, there's going to be a lawsuit happening. Let me tell you about it.
Actually, air brakes don't work like that. If you know about air brakes, the air brakes, the air releases the brake. So if you lose the air locks the brake, or it locks the brake.
Mm-hmm.
I know if the brakes start acting funky, I need to find a mechanic.
Yeah, yeah. And air brakes, when you push the brake pedal on, it actually puts air into the cylinder, which how is it? Yeah, it actually pushes air into the cylinder that releases the brake. It keeps them released.
Is it the cylinder or those bags? Sorry.
Well, they're bags, but it's still called a cylinder.
Okay, yeah.
Look at it on there, yeah. But so it's designed so that if you lose the compressor or lose the air system, the brakes automatically lock, so you can't or stop the truck or you can't move the truck. Because one time I hooked up to a trailer and hoses were really, really tight hooking them up, and I shouldn't have hooked it up. And when I was driving a semi for Watkins Motor Line, and I went just to move it into the yard, and when I made a turn, it actually stretched that line so much that it broke the line. And so your hose is supposed to be your weakest link, but it pulled the whole thing out of the trailer. The piping, yeah. It pulled the pipe off the trailer. And so the trailer locked, and guess what? It's sitting there, buddy. You ain't moving it until you get that airline fixed and get the brakes back on. Unless they come in here with a forklift or something or a crane and lift it and move it out of the way. So, and it was my fault. I did get written up for it because I shouldn't have. If I knew the lines were short, I shouldn't have hooked up to it.
I had a similar, and I guess this is a shop confession. I was washing trucks at a livery company, and I moved their cattle trailer semi, but I've never really driven one. Well, I knew that there was the brakes up here on the dash. They were you just push them and it let go of the brake. But I didn't think about it. I let the brakes off on the tractor part, but the trailer I never thought about. And I put it in gear, and the tractor, man, went like this. But finally it straightened out and started going. And anyway, to make a long story short, I got it. I drove it, 1,000 feet or whatever. And I looked back, and there's this black line all in the back of the road. Needless to say, we lost the contract for washing those trucks. Okay. I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I was
you
probably 19
actually
years old,
you
you know?
drug the trailer.
I drug the trailer, yeah, with the tractor, yes,
Yeah.
with the brakes on the trailer, yeah, and you know, a cattle trailer, you know,
Yeah.
big cattle
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah, you drug it. Yeah.
Yep. And I was wondering why that tractor went like this. I swear to God, it went like this.
It's a good thing you didn't damage the
Not
tractor.
my fault. It's not my fault.
Well, the trailer was empty, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was empty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason the tractor was able to pull it. If the
was
trailer
empty, but
had been full,
it sure did, you know, lean into it.
If you'd have broke if it had been full, you'd have broke something on the tractor.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that much weight.
Yeah. They weren't happy. Like I said, we lost the contract. It was my fault. I mean, that's the truth.
Well, that's what they were kind of pissed off because where the trailer was, that actually interfered with the trucks coming in and out. It kind of bottlenecked them, so they couldn't move as quick as they could. So they were kind of ticked off at me for that. And like I said, it was my fault because I only had to move it from the position it was in and back it up to the loading dock. Okay, so we had one of those. It wasn't even a full, what you would say, tractor. You know, ever seen one of those tractors that they have in the lots like that? That's just got the cab, and that's just one person cab.
Yep.
You ever seen one of those?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just straight down.
Yeah, just a box, and then you're sitting in that little box. Well, that's what you move the trailers around in the lot.
Yeah.
Don't go on the road. You just move it. It don't even have a tag on it. You just move the trailers around in the lot. So I only had to move it from where the position it was parked and back it up to the loading dock. But when I went to make that left turn to pull it out so I could straighten it up to back it into the dock, the hose stretched and bing, all I heard was and crap flying around in the back of the truck.
Oh, I don't like those things.
Yeah, that's not a good sound. And I was thinking to just pop the hose so I could run and get another hose and put on it. No, it pulled the nipple and about 6 inches of pipe off the trailer.
Ooh, he said.
Yeah, it should have broke the hose. That's what it's supposed to do. That's the reason the hoses are designed to be the weakest link and break the hose, not damage the tractor or the trailer. It pulled that and about 6 inches off the trailer.
Telling that story reminded me of a story I read in Boston. A guy driving one of those tractors around the yard, moving containers, moving trailers. He backed it in to his own car.
Ooh.
But here's the claim.
Ooh.
They put a claim in on it against the company he worked for. You did it, but the company did it, he said, not me personally.
Yeah.
No, you personally did it.
You personally did it.
They carried it for at least a week in the news up there. It was too funny.
That's funny.
So I guess in the end, he won though. They replaced his vehicle. I don't think he had a job after that, though.
Yeah. I think I would fire him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I said we should have got off here 30 minutes ago.
Hey, you guys watching, anything you want us to talk about, let us know. One of our experts will know.
You can send a email. Oh, well, I'm on Facebook, so you can find me or Chris or Al or any one of us and send the suggestions on Facebook if you want. If not, email me at simplywoodencreations.com.
I mean, look at this panel. You got at least 6 weeks worth of experience here.
Yeah, at least 6 weeks.
That's being generous.
And what I don't know, I'll lie to you about.
Yeah.
If we don't know the answer, we'll make it up.
Hey, Jim.
I had somebody tell me one time that if you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with your bullshit.
Exactly.
That's right.
Didn't Mr. Fuchs pass away recently?
Fuchs?
No.
A few years ago, yeah.
Okay, well, I just wondered. I remember hearing something, and I wondered if it was the same Fuchs as the one from your company, or
no, I don't think it was. It probably wasn't if it was recent.
Then it probably wasn't. Yeah.
I knew one Fuchs.
Talk about how to stream. Aussie Man goes, talk about how to stream a live show.
Yeah, how to get it going. That's right.
How to get it going. Yeah.
One of these days
Hey.
we'll do it right.
Actually, it's very simple. It's just you can't do anything except sit here and watch it not work.
Yep.
I mean, because when you click the button for it to go on,
Mhm.
that's all you can do.
Everybody's
And
watching too.
Yeah, and if it don't work, there's nothing you can do about it.
Ask Paul how many times my mic's not working, or it picked a different mic, or my camera's not working and I got to fix it, and I'm sitting
Well,
there
that's
half
what
an hour
happened.
later trying to fix it.
Yep, that's what happened in the beginning tonight. Chris came on first, and then I don't know who it was. Al followed him, but anyway,
Yeah, I think it was me.
I have a camera identical. Matter of fact, I'll show it to you. I have the same camera that's on my computer on a tripod. It's the Logitech.
Oh yeah.
920.
Yep.
Yep.
And so that same camera I have on tripod, and I put it over there onto my 3D printers, or I can put it anywhere as far as that goes. I used to have it on this when I did Scrolling with Russ. That was one of the cameras that was on Scrolling with Russ. Well, the problem being is I forgot to before I booted my computer, I forgot to unplug that camera and plug this camera in. So when I unplugged and plugged, the computer didn't want to pick up this camera because they're both the same. It's thinking like, hey, it's the same damn camera. I ain't changing anything. You know how I finally got it to work? I changed USB ports. I stuck my mic into where the camera was and my camera into where the mic was, and then it picked it up.
Yeah.
I just had to change the USB port.
I'm gonna try my external camera next week. See if I can get rid of this glare. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the computer screen. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It ain't that bad, but yeah, I see what
No,
it does have a glare on your face.
Right in here, in the middle.
You look like you don't have any sunshine for a while.
I'll
You're
get plenty of
anemic.
that. Yeah.
You're anemic. So, but anyway, yeah. And so that took me a few minutes to work out. And then we had the problem of it didn't want to pick up on YouTube. So it's just one thing after another. So, yeah, one thing compounds to another thing, which compounds to another, which leads to the show didn't come on right. So, oh well.
Shit happens.
Yep. Poo-poo occurs.
Or as my nephew said in school when he was 5 years old, feces occurs.
Feces. Feces.
His parents were in the animal business. We knew the word. So
yeah. That's feces.
Did he ever say what Scoopties was?
But who was
Scoopties? No. He never did explain that.
Well, that's just wrong, keeping us in suspense like that.
Hey, Google it.
I did.
It don't know. Google don't know what it is? Well, hell, then nobody knows.
He made it up.
Yeah, he made it up. All right, guys, I do need to get off here. I want to try to go to church in the morning, and I'm tired. It's almost 2 o'clock. It's an hour past my bedtime. So, no, I mean, I got it. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, how come when I touch the watch it does that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's exactly time to take my medicine. I have to take it every 8 hours.
Hey, Russ. Take your medicine.
Yep. I have my gabapentin that I need to take. It's my nerve medication. Jim knows all about that.
Yep.
You've got some nerve.
Yep. No, actually, it actually deadens the nerves, so you're not feeling as much pain.
Yep.
So I don't have nerve. I don't have nerve.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see y'all next week. We'll try to think of something. Actually, what next week?
What is this?
Yeah, I should be able to do the show next week because my granddaughter's birthday, Collins, is next Saturday, but I think they did it during the daytime. So I should be home in plenty of time.
Huh.
Or that Easter Sunday is next Sunday. Yep, Easter Sunday. So
Yeah, I got Friday off.
listen, if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop, you just are too darn busy, or you're lazy as heck and won't get off the couch.
That's me.
So get off your butt, get out in your shop, and make some sawdust. Or get in there and do some 3D printing, some lasering, some CNC. Just do something. Get off the dad burn couch.
Right.
Just give me sawdust. Lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you
Good
for
night,
watching,
everyone.
and God bless.
All right, boys and girls, remember you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, and it's only 358 days till St. Patrick's Day.
Live long and prosper with that and what Chris said.
Yeah, 300. What'd you say? 58 days?
358.
All right. See ya.
Adios.